Infinity Sequence 2, Entheogens, and the role they play in spiritual enlightenment. Do they play a role in spiritual enlightenment? Well, I certainly feel that everything has its place, including entheogens. The primary thing I would start out by pointing out, though, is that the entheogens are a tool. They shouldn't be confused with the aim. They should be an exception, not the rule, meaning there should be many, many, many more days of your life that you are not employing them than days that you are. The native Indians and many indigenous peoples will use entheogens for the purpose of soul questing, and so long as this is the true aim for their employment, then yes, they play a role in spiritual enlightenment. When my waking up process first began, I think one of the first few people I came across to my great joy was Terence McKenna. I'm not sure how I had not heard of this man prior, but I hadn't, and I was quite pleased when I did. As many of you know, Terence McKenna highly promoted the use of entheogens for spiritual enlightenment. However, what I would bring to light to you here is that even Terence would say to you, and I heard him say many times in many of his talks, that the reason he employed the entheogens was because he himself held himself in the light of not being able to achieve the spiritual experience on his own without them. He found that the majority of the population was less likely to be able to achieve these spiritual experiences on their own without the use of the psychoactive drug. And it was because he held himself in this light that he employed them. You have to ask yourself the same question. Is that really true of yourself? Are you able to attain the spiritual experience without the use of the psychoactive drug? If so, it would be redundant and would actually cause weakness in your ability to continue on your own without them. When Terence was living on the planet and going through his own journey, the energies here were quite different than what they are now. I must say that I fully believe that everyone on the planet at this point in time, 2010, is able to achieve these spiritual experiences on their own. The higher energies coming through to the planet from the sun and the center of the galaxy are making this possible, utterly natural, without the use of external substances such as psychoactive drugs. So the situation that exists now is different than before. So again, I would just simply point out that I would say, the entirety of the population on the planet. Spiritual experiences, self-realization is possible solely with the use of your own being, your own presence of awareness. Now, this said, I also feel that every one of us individually has a certain space to hold open for the rest in regard to the ascension, the collective waking up experience of humanity as a whole. And within the particular space, it's your job and joy to hold open for the rest of us. There may be an opening where psychoactive drugs may play a role, where there is something there for you to experience in that regard for yourself individually and for the rest of us as well. So it's something that you may find is for you to experience for the rest of us. So they're not for everyone, but there is or may be an opening in your experience to gain knowledge, gain experience in regard to entheogens for the rest. Again, you have to ask yourself, is this something for you? Is this something that is coming up in the opening you are holding open for the whole? Now, if by chance you find yourself answering yes to that last question, then what I would continue with here is, are a few ideas about preparation, about setting yourself up for success in your experience rather than failure. Because simply diving off into an experience as profound is what psychoactive drugs will bring forth. Would be silly. So, if this is something that you know in your heart is coming up for you to experience, for you to learn something about, and help humanity itself grow from, then the mind and body need to be prepared. And so what I would suggest is spending at least a couple months prior, leading into an arranged event, to get ready, to detox your system, to meditate, to clear the mind, to clear fears, to energize the body, working with breathing practices, and when it comes to the physical body itself, doing literal physical detoxes, in particular detoxing the colon, detoxing the liver and kidneys, principally. Okay, so after you have prepared yourself to receive the experience coming to you, then you will have done everything that you know you can to have set yourself up for a successful experience.